Hey y'all, back with Vic here, and I have a question. Do you ever feel like something is holding you back, and you know you're supposed to be somewhere, but it's like something is just holding you back? Well, maybe you saw my post from the other day, and I also put it in my stories, but it's called the imposter syndrome. Um, And I'm going to read what my post says because I know a lot of our friends don't see our post. And sometimes they'll see a live before they see a post. So I'm going to read. It says, ever feel like you don't belong in the very space that you prayed for? I know I can't be the only one. It's called the imposter syndrome. So the imposter syndrome is not the truth. You're not ready. It says you're not ready. You just got lucky. Somebody else could do this better. Okay, let me tell you this. Have you ever heard the saying that God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies those who he called? Okay, therefore, you're not ready is X'd out. You just got lucky. I don't believe in luck. I believe in being blessed. Somebody else could do this better. Yeah, somebody else might can do it better, but God put me here, and what God has given me to do is for me to do, not for Jimmy, Johnny, Sally, and Sue, but Rebecca. So, and I say that to say each one of us have a purpose of our own to fulfill. And yeah, Jimmy might be doing it, Susie might be doing it, but God called you to do it in your unique way. So it goes on to say, you didn't get here by accident. You didn't come this far to start doubting yourself now. Am I the only one to doubt myself? I know I can't be the only one. Growth feels uncomfortable because it's new. New levels bring new doubts. But you're not unqualified. See, I believe that if you weren't qualified for it in the first place, God wouldn't have gave you the thought. He wouldn't have gave you the vision. Therefore, you're qualified. Now it's up to you to know that. It's up to you to tap into your creator and know that you are qualified no matter what yourself, that self-talk is saying to you, or anybody else is saying, if it's negative. Because we have positive people in our corner. So, give yourself credit. Walk in your confidence. And stop shrinking to fit in places that you have outgrown. And a lot of times we do that. And not only in places, but in relationships. We shrink because we don't want to move on because we feel like we're leaving the person that's been there with us or for us for a long time. But sometimes we have to move on because we've outgrown. We've outgrown it. And it's okay to outgrow people. And it's okay to outgrow situations and circumstances. So it goes on to say, you belong in every room your name is mentioned in. You belong in every room your name is mentioned in. And I'm gonna give you this little free piece too. You belong in some rooms that your name has never been mentioned in too. Keep showing up anyway. You got to keep showing up. Even when it feels unfamiliar. You like it said before, growth feels uncomfortable at first. Any type of growth is uncomfortable because you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. You're stepping outside of what you're used to into something new. And then it goes on to say that's not imposter syndrome, that's elevation. Keep stepping outside of what you're familiar with. Keep stepping into something new. That's called elevation. Remember in my live the other day, in my reel, it was a live or reel, the other day I said, all 2026 we elevating. Elevation is uncomfortable. In elevation, you have to leave some people behind. In elevation, you have to come up a little bit higher. It's elevation, and we elevating. That's why that's why it's called an elevator, because the elevator take you up. We going up. I'm going up. You can too. It's all about your growth mindset, your confidence, your leveling up, knowing your worth, and keep going. You can't stop. No matter how uncomfortable it feels, you got to keep pressing forward. You will never know your full potential unless you keep going, even in that uncomfortability stage, even when it's uncomfortable. See, God has not placed us here to just be satisfied with the place that we're in, because we can't really walk in faith unless we go higher and get uncomfortable, so we can look and see what God has brought us from and is bringing us from and bringing us into. So that's that's all I have to say for today. The imposter syndrome, it's real, y'all, and a lot of people have it. So if you're suffering with it, just tap into your creator. A lot of times we don't work to our full potential, to what God has us wants us to work towards, because we don't tap into our creator. We don't tap into him. And it's like what Steve Harvey said about the boxes when he got about the story about the boxes when he got to heaven. God walked him, or St. Peter, I forget which one, but somebody was showing the man all the doors and stuff in heaven, and he was like, this was yours, this was yours, this was yours, but he didn't get it because he didn't tap into his full potential. Tap into your full potential. And that calls for affirmations, personal growth, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but whoever watched this replay or whoever on this live, self-help stuff, like personal development. That's what I'm looking for. And sometimes you got to sit down and read the book. And sometimes you have a book. And sometimes you have to sit down and read your Bible and get connected to your creator. Because the imposter syndrome is real. And the imposter syndrome is intruding on a lot of our lives, because it wants us to feel like we're this big and like we don't belong. But I'm here to tell you, you belong. If God has brought it to you, He brought it to you for a reason. You belong. Now, it's up to you to tap into it. And that's all I have. Y'all have a good Sunday. It's March 22nd, 2026. I will talk to you later.